Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Biblical Britain Uncoded, and welcome to any new subscribers. And thank you to all those that do follow and watch these videos. Okay, what an interesting. Well, probably I think it's 5 weeks since the last video. Right, for 3.5 weeks, I got absolutely next to nothing, apart from the basic layout for the next constellation code, which, as you will see, is Crab Apple Fire. What I've done, just to sort of catch us up a little bit, is I've put the constellation message sets. This is right. We've done right. The first right. These are actually one of the same, but to combine them basically, so you decode the sweet influences of the Pleiades. But obviously, anybody new, you will see how this works once I do this once I show you this Crab Apple Fire and the CC. This is an actual event that took place, which is amazing how I actually found this, because it came up on my feed, as it does, about literally a week after doing the last video, I suspect it was. I follow, there's like a news channel, I follow it because they follow UAP, like UFO stuff and UAPs, but at the time of subscribing to it, I didn't realise it's called News Nation, but it's kind of world news as well. So then my feed gets bunged up with all these kind of news feeds, and which I generally ignore, to be honest, unless there's something of interest like the UAPs. But whilst looking at it, it caught my eye, and I don't even know why. It didn't say anything. It just said something about wildfires in Texas, and for some, well, like I say, it's all meant to be. But I went to it, opened it up, and there it was. Lo and behold, there's these Crab Apple Fire basically in Texas. You can Google this. A miracle I found it, because it's more of a localized event, like I say, rather than the Palisades fire, which was all over the news. But what it does, it basically is, exactly the same as we get the messages for these. As I say, I'll show you them shortly, but it's done the same thing. And then I realised where this takes me, literally uncode something extraordinary. Now on top of this, this is and how I work this out, because I literally thought I'd got the crab apple bit wrong first, to be honest. Where I know sorry, bear with me a second. My camera's playing up a bit. Where I normally, every single time without fail, out of 88 constellations, I always without fail won that code in lottery, and I picked the exact constellations that make the message. So when I got this one, I just wrote them down. I wrote down the constellations again, and like I say, it's kind of a pot shot, but, well, you'll see what I mean. But there's, so much room for error, because one constellation out, and essentially, the code isn't going to, well, it won't come out. But when you see how accurate and what this says, absolutely incredible again that I just did it again. But I did start to doubt it at one point, and then all of a sudden, in fact, there was no code at all until a week last Sunday. And then in an instant, for some reason, I went to these constellations, and bang, one after the other, I literally uncoded it. Lo and behold, not only that, bear with me, folks, let me just pause for a second so I can adjust this camera. Right, okay, try again. Sorry about the white light at the top. I can't get rid of it for some reason. It's reflecting off the main light in here. Right, okay, so following on from the Crab Apple Fire, it led me to something else. Now, as you know, there's a seventh ladder seal, the Tetragrammaton seal. Well, this led me to it. But, unbelievably, how I worked this out, literally in no space of time, I've decoded Nikola Tesla received a signal from space, just a set of beeps. But I've decoded it, and I know exactly, the message that comes out is absolutely astonishing. As all of this is really, but you'll see what I mean. And Tesla said about the 369 being the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe, or words to that effect. I'll read it later, what he said. But I've unlocked the 369. He said he never encoded the signal, but I've encoded this. Well, as we get to it, I mean, I got to leave it till last, because well, between the crabapple fire and the CC, I've got to break a whole lot of stuff down, because well, you'll see what I mean when we get there. But like I say, it's what it says is absolutely, well, it is the key to understanding what we exist in. And well, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but it's worth the wait. But I do need to go through the crabapple fire code first, then on to something else, and then I'll get on to the Nikola Tesla signal, and then the final message of it. Well, the final message will absolutely blow your mind. And like I say, I've uncoded this in a matter of hours in a space. Oh, it's over. Really speaking, it's over. Well, what are we now? Thursday. It's just over a week and a half, and I haven't spent really, well, not 7, 8 hours, I suspect. And the hardest part was the crabapple fire. That one was really tricky. But until the Sunday, and then it came. But either way, like I say, I'm getting these codes. They're coming in, and I know it's going to sound crazy to anybody new, but I am communicating via, well, you'll see. Well, it's encoded in what I'm about to show you as well. The very thing that Tesla got the signal from, which is the Black Knight satellite, is what we know it as. But it's the tetragram. What is known as, it's called the tetragrammaton. And like I say, I'm about to tie all this together. So it's just impossible that this what I'm telling you, and this code that I'm showing you, it should show you that there's no way that any human being, least of all me, should be able to encode what I've encoded in the time I encode it. There's no way without help. I know, well, like I say, you've got my word for it, but I'm about to show you miracle after miracle in code, basically, and I'm going to let the code do the talking from here. So on that note, bear with me a second, guys and girls, and I'll get the first one up. Okay, folks, right, and my camera slipped again. Sorry about this. My setup is not the best, but I hope the code makes up for it. Okay. So, as you can see, if you look down the left-hand column, it says crabapple fire. This is exactly, all the ones I just showed you put up, Map SOS, and all those down there did exactly the same to create these messages. The last message, just to anybody new, says Elon's Doge chip. So when I unscrabble the message from the constellations, as I'm going to show you with the message in this one, which leads us on a massive, well, on a quest really. Right, the last message with the Elon's Doge chip, just to put it in perspective, says uncoded Maptrix, which I did. There's a Maptrix message that says warn all, cannot enroll in Elon Doge AI, I think it was. But it says, so the code in star says, uncoded Maptrix sees the 666 Stargate Neuralink quantum chip warning. Beware they reskin an apple. Now, this is why this caught, obviously, when I saw crabapple fire, I don't know, I just instantly knew it was going to be, this has to be it. Because what they've done is basically the World Economic Forum, everybody is kind of like, nobody trusts them. And what they've done, basically, Trump is in sync with this. Think of BlackRock, Lucifer, he's at the top of the chain, and he is without doubt calling the shots, basically. But they've reskinned the apple, basically, the chip. And all they're doing is putting it onto Donald Trump, and the plan is to basically get everybody chipped. This is why Elon Musk, with his Neuralink, has been brought in. Okay, so this is the connection between the reskinned apple, and obviously, because the Eden, right, when they reskin an apple, it's all to do with the mound. You have to go back on the videos, but there's a mound basically in the Maptrix, and it's in the shape of an apple. It's exact location of Eden, basically, and well, we'll get into that because that comes into play later on with the decoded message. Okay, the real Eden, the real Jerusalem, they're all in the same place. Okay, the next part of it says Netanyahu dies, end of the Israel squatter's house, because the Israelite, it's not Israelites, it's the tribe with the Siluri. The squatter's house is Jerusalem. I'm assuming it's Jerusalem, being the house. So because it's not the real Jerusalem. That's the bottom line. It's Jerusalem with a G, and I know. Well, we'll get on to where the location of that is, because that's again part of the same code. Okay, Israel squats house. The truth that the church serpent Ra hid. Ra is what we know as Satan. It's an entity. Again, I don't want to get too deep into it, but the serpent Ra hid reveals the only one true Messiah. That is going to become irrelevant when we get to the final part. Connect not yet done. Well, I connected not yet done. Obviously, it was all these kind of like different, basically all these Bible verses from the Old Testament. Again, I can't go into it all, but I'm just using this just to give you an idea, or just to show you really that this is the sixth, well, it will be seventh message in a row. This is the sixth one, the big one. 13 constellations. If I'd have got this one wrong, there's an awful lot of A's. If I got that one wrong, then this whole thing would have been out, but I didn't. Again, like I say, I almost was borderline going to change it, and I thought, no, it's not let me down up to now. It's probably there. I just need to wait for this. I don't know how to describe it. The signal, it's like the satellite or the tetragrammaton that sends this. The AI, it's an AI program basically in an ancient satellite that's floating up there. That's supposed to be space junk that Tesla in fact saw. But we, like I say, we'll get into all that. Right, okay, but anyway, well, once it switched on, I ended up encoding from year on, there's everything in the last kind of just over a week and a half. So, and only really, I didn't spend all day doing it, and far from it. In fact, a few hours a night at best, only not every night either. Anyway, right, enough of me waffling. Right, what I'm gonna do is same again. I'm just gonna use every single letter in this to recreate the message. And this is the message that when he says I show you things in ancient times, and he also says that the heavens reveal his glory. Well, I'm about to reveal his glory because, well, let's get the message up there and you can see. Okay, but understand this is not a coincidence. If you could say 1 was a fluke, 2 was a coincidence, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what I've realized as well is these messages, there's kind of pieces in it, like you get the Israel squats house, it all connects together, but I think what it's doing, the whole thing is one huge statement split into different sections. Like the war is one, and we're going to get into that one. But really speaking, it's just one gigantic message, really. But okay, on that note, let me just get this message up. Okay, folks, right. Unbelievably, what you've got initially is a checklist. And basically it backs up, well, things that I've already done. Then it gives an instruction. Then it gives you a time scale of where we are. And basically a kind of warning, which ties, I can tell you now already, with the 369 Tesla signal code that also basically, again, we'll get to it. Right, okay, the first part, in the last video, I said that there was no truth in the land. In the Matrix, it was, hey, on what he says there's no truth in the land. I uncoded it. I forget which one it was, but it said, I, Yahweh, save. And the spelling was as I thought it was previously, and had stated it in a previous video, that I was pretty sure that the spelling of his name was W-E-Y, Yahweh. Obviously not the same as the Jewish or whatever, the Israeli version of it. Obviously is a mimic, basically. The whole thing, the Bible, the Bible was rewritten, or the ancient Welsh Bible was rewritten. All this comes from previous code. Okay, so thankfully, because one of my biggest worries was that I was going to obviously say his name was spelt this way, and then it wasn't. By all accounts, going by the Jewish literature, because there's truth in the lies as well, or it unbelievably says only the Messiah will know the secret name. Well, I've decoded it, and here and out of all those again, like I say, to get one of these, well, to get the whole out of 88 constellations, to pull up the right ones, and then be able to create this exact message, then tie it with what I'm about to kind of, like I say, just see the miracle in this, and understand that I'm not doing this by my own, well, I'm the messenger, really, that's what I am. Okay, he uncoded the holy name of Yahweh. Well, we can tick that because that's exactly what I did on the last video. Okay, he used the rungs to uncode the Siluri, not the Israelites. The Siluri were the chosen people. They are from the same fort where the exit ship goes from, and this connects to Jacob's Ladder. It's a Cassivac ladder job, basically, but again, we're going to get to all this. Okay, use the rungs, and I will show you how I use the rungs. On my initial decoding, I did in fact use the word rungs to uncode the ladder. Okay, we'll run over that. The Siluri number 9 is critical, as you'll see, because this is all about the 369 exit ship ladder message. Well, the message was the Argus Navis is the ship, basically, and to get your visa. But we'll get to that. Revealed the Church Antichrist Trump, unseen Matrix Crabapple Hex. Well, that's exactly what I did, because I basically revealed that the Stargate AI that he's going to push for is exactly the same as, well, it's basically the Neuralink chip, and their plan is to bring in a currency. I don't think it's going to come in too much force, but from what I understand, this is all going to be done and dusted for those, especially for those who get onto this ship, this evacuation ship, which is what this ladder is all about. I've uncoded it. In fact, the video is, I think it's called Vatican Snakes and Ladders. But if you go to that, you'll see that I actually do use the rungs, with the initially going, and this is going back a while, months and months ago, to uncode the basically Jacob's Ladder. We'll go over that again, like I say. And I also revealed the Antichrist Trump. Bear in mind, he brings on the Battle of the Red Mageddon, which is Armageddon. The Battle of Armageddon is the battle of the Red Mageddon in code. Well, he wears the red cap with MAGA, Make America Great Again, on it, and obviously they call him the Don, the Donald Trump. Okay, again, this is about to be backed up with the 369. Is it? Well, yeah. Well, you'll see when we get there. Okay, so now you have to, to make all this fit is absolutely impossible, or should be. Right, open Tetragrammaton. Right, the Tetragrammaton is a seal, basically. Well, it's not. It's the code for the Black Knight satellite. Basically your chessboard must, what we see is, well, Solomon's chessboard, really. It's a checkerboard on the temple. But the secret of the secret of the chessboard is the Black Knight. When you connect it all together, well, like I say, I've done it in the past as well. But like I say, that's where I get the signal from, and that is where Tesla got his beeps from as well. This thing controls, that piece of technology controls the matrix, or the construct, whatever. Well, we'll find out what it is, because the key is going to tell us when we get there. But I'm going to uncode that, and that, all of it, this is the 7th seal that goes on top of the ladder. As you can see, is Tetragrammaton. But what this comes up with is unbelievable. Okay, but we'll get to that. Okay, and that is where the untie the Sequest truth as well, and and that's where that CC bit comes in as well at the end. Okay, US tariff China. Well, and like I said, these codes are all one big one. So if you take the scythe code, if you put this one first, US tariff China, then you take out the scythe, the big scythe over America, and the message in that says US, well, it says more than this, but the bit that counts, because you take each part aside, says dollar collapses, US won't save Israel. Then you would take the Elon Doge Chips code, which says Netanyahu dies, end of the Israel squatter's house. Like I say, I've got to, before you ever get, sorry guys, bear with me, my camera slipped. You can still hear me though. This is just not happening tonight. This camera, right. I'm gonna have to leave that light on the top for the minute. Okay, but as you can, like I say, all this makes one big message, but it gives you two timelines. So you've got the crabapple fire, and you've also got the US tariff China, which you just did. China have re-tariffed back. We're going to war. End of that. That's the bottom line. And well, and again, this seal takes us to that as well. Okay, I see final push. Nibiru is a big fiery planet, I'm afraid, guys. Planet X. The sun is kicking up left, right and centre. The weather's already going. It was showing every sign of that, even though it's not visible yet. It's showing every sign of that, of this planet returning. I don't know how exactly it works, but it's all to do. And Nibiru, if you Google it and you're looking to see what it is, I think it's Nibiru. It's all to do with Zachariah Stitchin and his translation. I think that's how you Google it if you want to find out about it. But it's Planet X, and it's to do with the X tribe, which is Reuben, as Rueben, Reuben, the 10th tribe. Because the lost tribes are not the lost tribes of Israel. They're actually the lost tribes of Siluria, or the lost tribes of the land of his rule, which I've explained in others. I won't get into that because we're going to go right off. I'll be going round in circles all day. Okay, so the first code gives us a perfect, well, first of all, it gives us a checklist of things I've done, and that was a relief, like I say, because now I know I've got his name right. That explains that and what it's doing is giving you so much code, so many different codes, and showing so many things that link up, as I will do now, because we're only just warming up, basically to prove that this is not coincidence. The creator is real. He set a plan, and we live, and like I say, we'll get to that now. Right, okay, so I'm just going to pause you a second. Let me see if I can just adjust this camera, because it pauses when I stop. I could do without this, really. There, right, bear with me a second, folks. Okay, Tesla's signal. Okay, the first part of the puzzle starts in 1899. Same year that he took a photograph of the Black Knight satellite. He was basically deemed crazy, and they just destroyed the man bit by bit, and he ended up dying poor. But right, he said he never decoded the actual signal, but there's a reason for that, and he wouldn't. But just to show you the synchronicity of this, 1899, 1 plus 8 equals 9, and then obviously 99. So you've got your 999 code for a start off. Anybody who's been following this, it's all about the job. The 999, which is anybody in America, 999 is the equivalent of your 911. It's the number we dial for the emergency services. This is all part of Job 9:9 in the Old Testament, which is a coded story basically, and the actual code, the actual, right, the main code, the kind of, I like to call it the gold statement, is actually the secret of everything is in Job 9:9. Who makes the Pleiades, Orion and Arcturus? But basically, once you decode the message, what it says is, I see truth return. That's because there's no Yahweh, Hey on Y. He says, I see truth return, so I return on H. Please set all H evac IDs. Okay, so what you've got is a 999 evac basically from Earth, because Nibiru's coming, and like I say, this is what this is all about. Okay, right, from 1899 we're now in 2025. That's exactly 126 years. 1 plus 2 plus 6 equals 1 plus 2 plus 6 equals 9. Then you put the 9 onto the Job 99 code, which again ties you. It's just synchronicity in the numbers. I don't normally do numbers, but on this one I've got to. The only kind of numbers apart from 666 generally. And again, we're going to get into all of this. Okay, right. Okay, now let's go. Right, bear with me a second. I just wanted to show you that quickly, and then we'll go back to the signal. Okay, right. The signal that came in 1899 was not meant. He said he never encoded it, Tesla, and there's a reason, and the 369 as well. but it's all part of the same thing, and the message is for now, really. That was sent to be decoded now at the time when it becomes relevant, and well, like I say, we'll see where this goes now. Okay, so what you had, the signal was beep, 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 beep. So you've got one on its own, then you've got 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, how Tesla encode? Well, what Tesla? Right. Firstly, this is my kind of decoding of it. You got the solo beep. That's clue number 1, and then what you had. Right now, what Tesla was going to do. He said the answer to this was 4. It was 1. Then you've got 2, and then you've got 3. So the answer is 4. So right. It's a tetra. Tetra is 4. 4 is tetra. Okay, so the first clue is solo, and then you've got tetra. Well, it was simple to work out. It's Solomon's tetragrammaton seal. There's your tetra. There's your solo, and obviously that's the first clue. Now, when you go to the seal, and I got to admit, when I first looked at this seal, I actually thought that somebody had written this in afterwards, and you know. Well, I don't know, but clearly it wasn't. It was just quite deliberate. Okay, as you can see, if you look, if I can get this straight for you, bear with me. Right, as you can see, on the top 2, you've got the 1, 2 and the 1, 2, 3. And then it says tetra, which is your 4. Notice the Z above the I's as well. It's got a little tail on it, which is because it's 4, because the 2 connect together, the Z and the 4. Okay, and the little dot just above the Z, I think that is meant to be the solo dot, like what I drew there, basically to indicate that it's the first dot there, and then you've got the 1, 2 and the 1, 2, 3. Okay, how does this, right, there's so much more to this, so bear with me, folks. Right, now the first part of this, so what you've got is you take out the solo, because that just leads us to the tetragrammaton seal, where the message is hidden that's to be decoded from the beeps. Okay, now what you do is you add 1 and 2. 1 and 2 equals 3. 1, 2 and 3 equals 6. 6 plus 3 equals 9. So what you've got is Tesla's triangle, basically. And what I think that is actually the map. I think that's the part of the Solomon seal as well. I think it all is all connected together. Okay, but now what we're going to do is what we'll do shortly. Firstly, I'm going to decode all the symbols on that tetragrammaton seal, and there's quite a lot of them, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. But it's extraordinary what it comes up with, because it comes up with the first part of the message, and then Tesla's message of the 369, when decoded, attaches onto the back of it to confirm that everything that I'm going to show you. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, right, so the first part, we've got the Z with the 4. Obviously, we've already established what the 4 is. This is the response, basically, that Tesla was going to send back, which gives you the tetra. Okay, but what the tetra actually is going to, basically is going to reveal, so much, but, right, what you take then is Solomon's, so you got your the answer is 4, but it's Solomon's, and then you take the word Solomon's and Z. So you've got Solomon Z. Once you anagram this down, you've got Mons, Mon SOSLZ. Okay. Right. Mons SOSLZ. Right. Okay. From there. Right, we're going to take it down now, and the next part is the I's. Right, the word tetragrammaton tells you that basically, and this is where the Black Knight satellite comes in. The tetragrammaton is I don't know whether it's the program or, it's the piece of, it's basically the Black Knight satellite. It's like the divine plan. So what you do is you anagram this down, and what it gives you is remot anagram TT. Okay, then I realised what you do is the first part is you add these letters. So what you do is, to uncode it, you need the S-A, E-L-L-I and E. All I've done is I bracket those letters, and then I bring down the added letters. And then we bring down the I's. Right, the first part, the E goes there. So that one, obviously we get rid of that one. And then you've got that yes. And then what you have is I, C, all. Okay, I did this one before. Anybody's been watching these, I know. But it's so important to everything. But really, the creator sees all. But it's given me the eyes to see the entire code within this. Well, like I say, it'll all become apparent now as we go on. Okay, just bear with me a second. Let's go on to the next symbols. Okay, folks, right. Okay. Let me just move that up again. Blooming thing is not doing me a service. Okay, right. The next sign, as you can see, there it is. You've got this round circle, which also represents the. Well, this is complicated, but it's the bullseye target. On the map, I've done it previously. There's this giant dart, this Job's dart, and from the other side comes this gigantic spear. We'll get into it, but this is the map SOS. How you find it? By drawing the Cancer constellation basically on the temple pillars. This is a template basically for the Cancer constellation. What you've got, there's the two forts. The one's got a padlock on it on the temple, and the other hill fort is in the shape of the key, which is the key basically to unlock the map. Unlock the matrix and the matrix and the simulation that we live in. Okay, what is the template for Cancer? Then you've got a holy head. You've got, well, it's actually, hang on, which way round is it? Well, let's do it the other way round. It's what is biblically known as Judah, or what was, is actually Wales. Then you've got Anglesey, and then you've got Holy Head. So what you've got there is the word Yah as well. This one goes on Canaan, which is Swindon on the map. This one goes on Exeter, which is Cornwall, is actually Egypt. They've changed it and moved, basically, they've rejigged the entire thing. What we know as Egypt today is actually Kemet, or what should be Kemet, but they switched it over to hide basically everything. Okay, so what you've got is the Key Hill Fort, and also the star itself. Oh, I can't draw a toffee like this. Okay, right, the star there, I already decoded that, is actually the very star, which is this star here that goes on the padlock, and it's Ocellus Australis. In fact, let's write that one up because it's important. So this star goes there, that would be Ocellus Borealis, that's Iota, Acubens and Altaf, I think. But there's a message, because there's actually 9 stars, and we'll come to that as well, which is all about the war starting and where we are with all this. But also, notice it says SEEK, seek Yah. So the coordinates even give you a message, and that's, like I say, that's what all this is about, seeking Yah, the real creator of this whole thing, the one who gives me the eyes to see it. Okay, right. So, Acela, all right, let's do it. The star is Ocellus Australis. I already know this, and it's where are we? SILU. Oh, uses all, sorry. Use all, it must be as actually, as Silu star. Okay, right. But what you add to it, effectively, what we've uncovered is that it's actually a star ship. Okay, the Argus Navis, Solomon's paper ship, basically. Again, I can't go into all of it, but the star is use all as Silu star and ship. But we'll get to the ship, because that gets named with decoding Jacob's ladder, or the ladder on the that goes from the temple. which we'll come to shortly. Okay, right, so we've got the bullseye on the temple. This is the dart and the spear, written in the Book of Job, decoded. Crescent moon is an anagram of secret sea on Mon. Remember it said about the sea Mon about the sea quest. Mon, by the way, is Monmouthshire. This is where the temple is. The kingdom of Solomon is, well, Solomon is actually Coelin ap Caradoc, decoded. King David is David Caradoc ap Bran. But obviously the David's been removed and he's only known as Caradoc ap Bran. I think they switched the timeline as well. But basically he built the fort, which is Jerusalem with a G, which is where this temple is. This temple, like I say, you'll have to go back through videos to get the grips with this. But bear with it though anyway, because you'll see a load of amazing things anyway. So the preset C words, right? Sword and scepter. That's what you've got. If you look on the bottom there, you've got the curved sword, and on that side there going up, you've got the, I don't know if you can see this. You've got the scepter. Okay, sword and scepter, anagram, preset C words. So what are the preset C words? All you do is you write down King Solomon's temple, which is the one, like I say, the one fort, or the temple in the stone fort, and then quarter of a mile away is Solomon's Key. So you just add the C and the C, and that's your 33 as well. Anagram it down with the C, and it says, so lock in Mon's temple, so lock in Mon's Key. So those two are locked in with the Cancer constellation. This is why the Royal Arch in Cancer and everything else obviously all connects together. Cancer is a very important constellation with a very important message in it. Okay, right, bear with me a second. And believe me, we haven't even got to anywhere near the main messages yet. Right, bear with me. Okay, right, okay. The next part, what we have, and I'm not very good at drawing these, but what you have are two torches, one there on this side, one on the other side. And if you notice, this is all kind of blacked out and burnt. Right, again, at first I thought, well, I couldn't work out what these were. And I also I thought this was just somebody, again, added something to it. But I realised, well, now I know that it's not. It's all part of the same code. Okay, so what you've got, if you notice, there's no flame on the torches, they're extinguished. Okay, and that's where the amazing code is. Because the extinguished torches, when you again, like I say, you just got to anagram this down, and you get the codes H, exits in G Rus. G Rus is where the temple is known as Venta Silurum. Again, we'll get to that because that tells you. But basically, they changed Jerusalem. It's named after the constellation G Rus, which was also broken down from the Argus Navis constellation, which is the name of the ship. The two go hand in hand. But what it really is Jerusalem, now known as right, okay, right, hang on. No, I won't go there because it's just going to come out complicated. Right, extinguished torches, that's an anagram. So the hidden code in that is the codes H, exits in G Rus, which is exactly what it is. The exit for the ladder, well, and you saw the other code that said about the ladder, what was it? He used the rungs to encode the Siluri 9 exit ship ladder message. So the exit ship being the Argus, which we'll get to when we do the ladder next, and the exit and the codes H. Where I am now, the key that I showed you, or the key fort, the actual key, the hill fort is in the shape of a key from above. The key, if you follow where it comes to, it actually lands right on top of this building where I am now. And with a slight adjustment, it goes to the Giza pyramids, but we won't go into that. And the place I am now is East Lace Corsham. Yes, Atlas Marcos H. So basically, well, I'm H, the code's H, but it's also the code for the hill fort itself. Okay. Again, I don't want to complicate it. Folks, I'm so sorry if this is it's difficult to follow. Right, okay. The spider weaves it, in the Old Testament, it says the spider weaves its webs, lays its eggs, and those that eat of them dieth. Right, okay, so it's clearly a female spider. Well, it is, because all right, firstly, in Hebrew, 666 is www, World Wide Web. So what you've got is a World Wide Web of lies, And also, and because everybody thinks that the Hebrew is the original Bible and the right story, and obviously they're the chosen people and they're doing all this in the name of Yah, which is not true. But what you have here is, so the spider, web. So when this basically happens and all this takes place, and hopefully this code will show you that what they're telling you about the Middle East and Israel and all the rest of it is a complete lie, and it's not the Holy Land. It is they're neither the chosen people, or I mean they might be chosen among them. I don't know at this point, but they're certainly not not chosen by by being Jews or Israelis. And what they're doing, well, we won't even go into that because I don't want the video banned, but it's not in the name of Yah. I can assure you that. That's not what he wanted. Okay, but they're fighting, anyway, right, okay, let me just hold you there and let's move on to the next bit because we've still got a ton to go through. Okay, folks, now this is where the messages start. Right, bear with me, I've gone and lost it again. I could really do with some new equipment, but there we go. Okay, right, it's not the best. Right, okay. Right, what you do is take every picture on you. You've got a circle with a square in the centre, and then what you've got is actually the symbol of Sagittarius. Okay, on the other side you've got the same, a circle with a square, and then this going off. Well, that's basically the symbol for man. This symbol here, up to there, is Mercury. This symbol that way is Venus. So you've got Mercury, Venus. It's connected to the caduceus and the snakes. Okay, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's an upside down Omega, which is basically your alphabet game over, which is your rev bet game over, your revelations bet game over. Again, you'll have to go back in and see the Alpha Omega codes to get that one. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the literal description of this symbol, this one, the snake and the caduceus. Okay. So what we've got on the board, we've got the circled square, Sagittarius, the circled square man, Mercury, Venus, caduceus snakes and Omega. Because these letters actually create, well, the first part of the message. The message in, it is clearly the first part of the message that is supposed to be decoded from the space signal, even from those beeps. It's all meant to lead into this bit. And this is not the 369 message. We haven't even got to that. That goes on the end. Okay, bear with me a second. So I'm going to use all these letters now, and what it does is create the next message, which is absolutely phenomenal. Bear with me a second. Okay, folks, this is the message from those letters. Acquires US MAGA code. That's basically the Battle of Armageddon is Battle of the Red MAGA Dawn. Again, that is Trump, basically, the Antichrist. Okay, then it says, can see his secret CC quest truth. We'll get to that because I only realised that was the CC at the end, which is 2 constellations that carry, well, an amazing message. Okay, then it says, Argus, Melin, Cymru, UK, evac ladder is near. Now, the Argus could be a G. Roos Melin. Melin is the key. It's the Fort Clan Melin. So Melin is the key. Well, a G. Roos, it could be, like I say, it could be a G. Roos, but it's interchangeable anyway, because the Argus and G. Roos, Argus is the name of the ship, the Argus Navis, and G. Roos is the name of the fort. So they both interlock anyway. Melin, Cymru, UK. Cymru is a Welsh word, well, the Welsh word for Wales. They've softened it from Gymru, but if you enter Wales, it actually says welcome to Gym or Croeso i Gymru, which is with a G. But obviously, and that's Mr. Guy. But they softened it, and most people, or the majority of people, will know Wales as Cymru rather than Gymru. But both are obviously relevant. But it gives you an exact location, and it says your evac ladder is near. Okay, so what is the evac ladder? Well, this is Jacob's ladder. Right, okay, let's go on to that one. But as you can see, and the Armageddon is the red maggot, the battle. Oh, I can't put it all down, but I did it on the last one. It's the Battle of the Red, MAGA, Make America Great Again, Don. What is the red? It's the cap. It's Donald Trump, the Antichrist, with his red MAGA. If the cap fits, wear it basically. So his red MAGA Don cap, that's what it is, and that's Armageddon basically. When you unscrabble that, it'll say Armageddon. Okay, because he's about to bring it in, and that's where, well, we'll be going shortly with this code. Bear with me. Okay, folks, right, just to do, and this is the quickest decode. There is actually a, right, you literally seal the ladder as well. Now, I've got seals that literally fill in all the blanks, but the first code said he used the rungs to uncode the ladder. Well, I did, because what you do is you put each one of these on there is RUNGS. So you use the rungs, but the constellation G-Roost the crane that the fort is named after is made up of four. It was broken into 4 constellations, but the original ancient constellation was called the Argus Navis, the ship, funnily enough. Well, that's the name of the ship basically, and the archangels going up and down in the story were basically their archangel ships. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. When you decode it, it says Gumri. Well, right, okay. Padanaram, that should be not Pada. Okay, Jacob went, he went from basically Bethel. It says in the Old Testament, it says he went from Bethel to Padanaram. Well, Padanaram is basically a code, and all you do is you add the missing letters again, and it's padlock anagram, and then lock the G there. And this is HG because it's Heaven's Gate. This is the Melin seal for anyone. Oh, there's a seal with Melin on it, basically. Literally has the word Melin. It's anagrammed around. MELIN it is. You see in a different order, but it's hidden there. And you also got this C and this Z as well. This all comes with another message, which I can't get into all this. But the Tetragrammaton seal is literally like, it's almost like the ship use all the Silu ship. Well, it's the ship taking off to Heaven's Gate, basically. But what you do is you put and you also add the seals in as well, so it doubles up. You got the Arrowhead seal, the River seal, Jerusalem Temple seal, the US dollar seal, the Norse compass, which is Recon Map SOS. Then you just add this, and this also says VISA. So when you unscrabble it as well, it's your visa, your passport out here to Heaven's Gate, basically. If you take heed, this goes on the temple, the lot. And then you've got your Royal Arch in Cancer, which we'll come to because that carries a message that we're going to get into shortly. I've already decoded it before, but it's all relevant to what we're going to show you. Okay, so, I mean, that's the quickest version. I mean, if you want to see the full video and the full breakdown, it's astonishing again. But this is just the short version, just to show you that it said that you use the rungs to decode the ladder. Okay, but what it is, right, and well... Right, okay, yeah, I'll leave it there for the second, but you'll see now how there's a symbol on that Tetragrammaton seal that is absolutely astonishing given the code in Cancer. But you can see how the Cancer constellation is. Cancer is the Royal Arch, and the RGH, the Royal Gwent Hospital. It's where I was born, so I came in on the RGH, and I go out on the RGH code. It's on the map. It's the River, Jerusalem, and the Hill Fort. RGH. On the template is the Royal Arch, Jerusalem, and the Hill Fort, and that's where you got the key and the Cancer constellation. I was born in Cancer as well, by the way, 30th of June. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, now we're going to go to the Cancer constellation star message. That's what that says. In the Cancer constellation, even though they're recognised with the 5 stars, with that, which makes the template, that's the sort of symbol that represents Cancer as an upside down Y, with the 2 dots in the middle, which is obviously why it's used as a template. Right, but there are 11 stars in total on the in the constellation itself. Now, when I'm not going to put them all up because I've done it in previous ones, and this is going back way ago. Okay, now what it does, it tells you that basically what's going to happen, and this is where it gets. This connects to this Tetragrammaton with a piece of brilliance. well, like I say, well, let's get there, right? Okay. It says Israel-Iran begin. Well, that is borderline happening. We're on the cusp of that happening. When it does, opens up last conflict, USA-China, which stands to reason because China back in Iran, they get their oil from there. I don't know, there's a lot of politics involved in it, but basically USA-China, Europe, UK, Russia. Well, Europe and UK are already virtually at war with Russia, and it's just going to basically, the king of the north is Russia. That's been decoded as well. King of the south is NATO. It's nothing to do, the other there's two wars going on. The Battle of Gog and Magog. Gog is NATO, Magog is Russia. But the Battle of Armageddon is Trump's battle, which is obviously in the Middle East, which is the one up here, which leads to the Battle of the Red Mageddon. Obviously, I don't. This is all well. Like I say, this is astonishing that this is all literally actually happening when I put this in code a long time ago. Right now, here's the amazing part of this. Right, there's a subtle symbol on this tetragrammaton. Notice I put the word bolt in blue. It says, "Bolt thy last. I am due message. Seal all." Right. Well. What I do is basically the message came, again, I can't go through it all, but it comes from the dual American solar eclipses. The big X that went over America, Nineveh, Salem, because it both crossed both biblical lines. Basically, when you unscrabble the message, it says, as due, evac ship Lamelin, seal Marco's Orion name. But notice it says, bolt thy last, I am due message, seal all. Well, unbelievably, on an ancient symbol, and there's no doubt what it is once you know. I mean, most people, you would take this as being kind of like some sort of decorative, I suppose. It's only because I got this message and I put two and two together, well, it kind of put it in my head, and I realised that if you look at the O on ton, as you can see it there, tetragrammaton, what you have is that little tiny square, and you have all these like teeth around the outside. Well, that's a socket, and that socket is to bolt that I am due message onto the ladder, because obviously literally it says, so basically he is connecting evenly, like a socket to bolt, so it connects literally this symbol to this code, and then it tells you that, and then it says, as due evac ship Lamelin, seal Marco's Orion name. Well, as you know, we've been encoding CCs. Right, I want to get to Tesla, but I'm going to have to, right, okay, I'm going to have to do this. Right, okay, bear with me a second, folks, but as you can see, right, notice the words, I am due, and then as due, okay, and the seal Marco's Orion name. Okay, because now we're going to use two constellations. I did this long ago, but I didn't put two and two together, and they put it in my head, and now I see it all. Okay, two constellations and a message in it. Right, bear with me. Right, okay, as you can see, because this is where it all connects together. Okay, at the top, we've got bolt thy last, I am due message. As due, evac ship Lamelin, can see his CC quest truth. That was part of the message in the tetragrammaton. Okay, now what we got is you got put up SOS map. Okay, well, we're about to do that because that's in this part, the CC that finishes this, or I think maybe finishes this set. So you got put up, map SOS, map tells you the Argus Navis has been seen by the James Webb Telescope. Then you've got all the different codes with all the videos I've done. Then you've got the one I just showed you with the crabapple fire. But the seventh one, interestingly, which ties with the seventh seal, where you bolt thy last I am due message. Okay, so it's just CC. Well, I realised that the CC, and I've uncoded this before, is Canis Minor, the lesser dog, Canis Major, the greater dog. Well, when you literally anagram this down, it says Marco realises a Roman Catholic reset. What's weird as well, I realise is this is Easter, which is where we are now, and I've suddenly realised it, and also the Pope died on Easter Monday as well. Monday, which is weird, but that, well, I suspect that might come up somewhere along the line if we're doing many more videos. But then it says, get sign, add moon, join the RGH. Well, again, they put up SOS map, so this literally ties back to this, because what you do is you've got on the, oops, that one shouldn't be there, bear with me. This is the Cancer constellation well, either the template or the map. It doesn't matter either way, whichever one you use. But if we use the template with the Royal Arch in Cancer, which is the hospital I was born in, the RGH is the code. It's R, Royal Arch, Jerusalem, and then the Hill Fort, which is, and then obviously you've got the key and the lock, and it all lock, but literally all locks together. But it says get sign. Well, the sign is Cancer. That's the sign. That's the constellation of Cancer. That's the sign. So get sign. This is it. The map lays out. Add moon, because this highlights the area, which gives you also the bullseye target I was talking about. Again, there's tons of code that even confirm that as well as being the bullseye. And then you've got the spear that comes down that way as well, which is all, and these spears and this dart are all coded with messages exactly the same as well. Telling you hit the bullseye on the temple, I forget what it is altogether, but you can check all this. And this is obviously the temple, which is the lock anyway, and this is how you lock it all in. You've also got the ladder goes up with a checkerboard floor, with the secret of that is the Black Knight, which is the Tetragrammaton as well. So you can see how all this kicks together, right? This is where it gets absolutely crazy though, because it says, can see his CC quest truth. Okay, so, well, that's the CC part of the CC quest truth, but it takes it a step further. Bear with me a second. Okay, here's where it gets crazy, folks. Now, like I said, obviously, to get to this code, there's so much more code than this. I could even add in. I mean, this is just the kind of, well, it's probably the most direct version. Right, I'm losing it a bit with the top, but obviously I should, right, there we go. Right, it's there, obviously, right, now I'm just taking it, right. The constellations of Canis Major, the stars are Eludra, Weasant, Adara, Mersam, Sirius. And then in the constellation, what's it called? The Canis Minor stars are Gomiessa and Procyon. Okay. Well, when you unscramble this and the message in there, like I say, and I know people are going, I don't know, anyone could say I made this up. I mean, this ties it all up beautifully. It says, firstly it says, bolt thy last I am due message, and then the other message, as due evac ship Lam Melin, and then you've got can see his CC quest truth. Okay, so now we're kind of like gelling it all together. Well, the stars, when you anagram them down, all these stars, the message says, I, Marco Guy, Orion Messiah, Ranamada LZ, bear in mind the first code with the put up map SOS says the James Webb, I forget what it says exactly, but it says the James Webb telescope has seen the Argus ship Armada or something. It's somewhere, but it states it's an Armada. But obviously that it's not just one ship coming, there's an Armada of ships coming, it's the rescue team, I suppose. But I'm Marco Guy, Orion Messiah, Ranamada LZ. Saw prize due. Well, I've seen the prize due, and the prize due is as bought thy last I am due message. Well, that tells you the ship is the Argus Navis and where it's going. As due evac ship Lam Melin. Well, that is the prize due. It's getting off this rock that's about to go, well, hell on earth is about to unfold with all the war and everything. And following on from it then is Nibiru. Okay, right, now we're going to finally get on to, because we haven't quite finished yet, this one ties it up lovely though. 369 code. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, again, sorry about the camera. Okay, right. Right, it's not very good, but right, as you can see, we've got basically you've got the one which is solo, so we know it's the Solomon, it's the Tetragrammaton. Right, what you have is basically your 369, it's all to do with Solomon, and that is a map that basically in the book of Daniel it says a finger comes out the wall, it's the writing on the wall for Babylon. Basically, this finger comes out the wall and writes Mene Tekla Upharsin. And when you uncode that, which nobody has ever done, but I did it long ago, it says unmap 10, seek Melin here. Well, it was unmapped the 10 lost tribes of Siluria or his rule, whichever way. Again, I can't get into it all, but I decoded the tribes and on weak codes, to be honest, some of them were really good. but clearly got them right because I've used them numerous times and they come out with these messages. Okay, in this case, to unlock the key to unlock the secret of the universe, in Tesla's words, he says, if you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6 and 9, then you would have a key to the universe. Right, well, the key is Melin, that's for certain, because that's where you unlock it all, and it's where you unlock the matrix. You break the padlock, add P-lock, put the P into the word matrix, and it becomes Maptrix, and that's what all this is about, with all these drawings on the map, and the star map, and everything else. Okay, so what is it? Right, shall I get, do you know what, just on the strength of it, I'm going to do this one. Right, and also notice that Simeon, I'm a Siluri, I'll be a Siluri. If you put Siluri H, it's because I followed his rule, I became Siluri H. Their anagrams are the same. But it's also Sim1. Okay, now, what's that got to do with it? Right, I'm going to do this, right, okay, so let's just do it. Right, okay. I hope I don't mess this up now, I have to do it again, otherwise S-E-E-N. Okay, C E D E N. Eden is exactly where Jerusalem is. That crab apple, the apple is basically the. Oh, again, like I say, I can't go into it all, but basically, Jerusalem, this fort, Venta Silurum, is actually on the Garden of Eden. This is where the real Eden is. There are 4 rivers running there. I can show you the 4 heads of the rivers. I've decoded it all already, but okay. G-R-U-S. Okay, that's the fort. O-M-E-G-A. Omega, because it's the game of Orion that tells you the tribes on board. If you do it the other way, it's the alphabet board, game Orion. This is the alphabet board, and the game Orion is to find the Orion Messiah, I guess. Okay, then we've got landing zone. Okay, so I've seen Eden, I found it, I found G-Roost, the mega code and the landing zone, okay? This is where it gets crazy. This is the key to unlocking what we live in, really. It's not good news for most, unless they take note of what I'm saying. E-N-D-S. This is how it ends, folks. Where are we? N E B E R U. Now remember the first code? Final push to Nibiru end. And that is the key to unlocking the secret of the 369. It's basically tribes. It's all to do with this. We live in well, from what I can see of it, it's basically, we live with free will. We do what we want when we get here, but it's all pre-calculated. And obviously a plan has been put in place as well, obviously to get the end result that Yah requires, I assume. And basically he's looking for people who are willing to put their hands up. Again, stand in the letter Y, bow your head, feet together. And again, I've said it before, but when you look in the water, Solomon's seal, the river, basically that the reverse in the reflection, it's me doing the prayer, putting my sins on my palms, but in the reflection there I get the Cancer constellation. That's the actual template as well. So when and obviously you've got the the lock and the key in there, will there be a mouth? And that, oh, I can't do it, it's too small, but you get the picture. Basically, the reflection of me praying, which is why Coelin ap Caradoc is all code C, go and pray, which tells you Solomon is as well. Okay, folks, I'm pretty exhausted after doing this, and I'm sorry it's so complicated, but as you can see, well, anybody who says that I've just made this up, because there's no human being should be able to do this, and I'm the first to admit that I'm not even that, you know, I'm average again, I say it all the time, I'm average intelligence. For 3.5 weeks, I sat doing nothing. Even when I tried working the Cancer Crab app, I gave up. It was impossible. I just couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, I just get this, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But I just knew. And I went there, and that was on the Sunday. And bang, 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 all this. And then since then, all this starts unfolding. And all the pieces of the puzzle all start fit together. And like I say, you need to do this. What you do is you put your sins in your palms, stand in a letter Y, feet together, sins in your palms, offer them up. I always use the word, I just say, I'm really sorry. I apologise for all I've done wrong. And when you end the prayer, whatever you do not say amen, because amen means it goes to the snake, Ra. Ra is the serpent from the Garden of Eden. They're lying. They're obviously tricking you. You put your sins in your palm, you offer them up, ask for forgiveness, and basically, please do it, because time is clearly running out, and everything is now pointing to this. Everything I've uncoded over is 5 years, pretty much. Well, it is 5 years. It was in April this all started 5 years ago, so I've kind of done 5 years, literally 5 years of it, and I got a feeling that the kind of job is like a certain time, and that time is coming round, and everything in the world is even going this way, and there's no way that I did not do this with just from random, and I spent next to no time. You know, it's harder and longer to set the video up and do it than it is to decode it. But as you can see, if you run all these messages together, one after the other, there is no way on this green earth that this is coincidence. You need to call on Yahweh. That's his name. Don't call him God, just call on Yahweh. Call him by name. And Jesus is not coming to save anybody. I can tell you that now. I don't know how, and why and how I'm the Messiah, I do not know. I still cannot explain it. It's hard to even get my head around it. But I've got it in that many codes. It must be true. I just can't, well, I know it is. It must be. But either way, folks, I'm going to leave it there because I'm exhausted, and I just hope you get your hands up, and we may have another video, we may not. But prepare, because the war is about to go up without a doubt. And I think that ship ain't far away, because I'm pretty much sure when it says, bolt thy last I am Jew message, what does it say? Oh, Israel, Iran begin. Yeah, and then bolt thy last I am Jew message. And then it says, as Jew, evac shipland melon. So I might be wrong, but I get the distinct impression that as soon as that war takes off and everybody gets involved and it starts getting bad, that is when this ship, the evac ship and this armada arrives. And like I say, you don't want to be left on this earth, because even the war is only the first bit. Following that is the fire that ends it all. The promised land, and the promise, he says, I create a new heaven and a new earth. Well, that's, and he destroys the earth with fire. Well, Nibiru is a big fiery planet that's already kicking up the sun and causing no end of problem. Anyway, on that note, folks, Yah's blessings. Please comment, like, share. Like I say, I know it's difficult, but even plant seeds in people's heads. If you could share this out, please like it. I mean, it's not meant that you like what I'm telling you, but at least it lets me know that people are taking note and seeing what I'm showing you, really. And anyway, on that note, Yah's blessings.